Hi folks, it is New Year's Eve. Well, it is New Year's Eve tomorrow anyway. Hope you all have a very happy new year and you stay safe and comfortable as we bring in the year 2023. And I hope you've all had a good year as well. It's been a very good year for the channel, but I'll get into that over the weekend. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below. If you really like what I do, then the real subscribe button is right next to that. There's the bell notification icon. And if you really like what I do, then buy me a beer over New Year. The Patreon's down below. This is going to be a video on Abaddon with the spoiler, because I got a request to do so in after my Black Legion video from a patron who said, quite rightly, that whilst we touch on Abaddon there, he is a huge part of the Warhammer 40,000 lore that we sort of skate past, right? We give a really good goal for him, and we let you know what he's supposed to be doing, but we don't really talk about him and how he is affected by the lore going forward. So this is going to be a bit of a ranty video, mainly about why I think he is the worst villain in fiction. I'm not kidding. Right? Of all the villains I've read about ever, he's the worst. Not because he's the most annoying. Okay? There is a real important thing that I want to get across here, and that is not characters aren't bad if they make you feel something, right? Characters can be annoying, characters can be irritating, characters can be, quite frankly, not very well written, but as long as they make you feel something, and they make you do something, as in want to beat them or want to do anything with them, they're good villains, or at least they're villains who do their job. They're a net positive rather than a net negative. Abaddon is a vanilla wafer. He's not really anything. Let's get into it. Because I'm going to start ranting. I can feel it coming. Warhammer 40,000 is one of those all-encompassing, massive, and overpowered settings in any form of fiction. Truly, that is something to be proud of for the community, right? It's such a huge, all-encompassing, and powerful setting. It also means that when 40k misses the mark, though, it tends to do so in spectacular style. I believe Abaddon the Despoiler is actually the most on-the-nose example of Games Workshop over-bloating their own setting to the point that it becomes a meme and parody, even whilst it tries to give you a super serious face to convince you how serious it actually is. Have you ever watched the bombastic and manic energy of things like Edge Runners or the Arcane show on Netflix? They're silly, aren't they? I bet they also made you feel something, though. And made you feel like you lost something when they were over, right? Because they were good shows. But they don't try to be serious. They don't try to tell you how to feel. They simply are, for better or worse. They are. They're there. Absorb them. Engage with them. Or don't. It's up to you. Abaddon may as well turn to the camera and tell you, "I'm so badass, and no one can defeat me." Only for him to then get slapped around by an old man and a spindly girl with wings. In short, he doesn't work and is actually one of the key facets that means 40k will always have the meme lords as a part of it. In this video, I'm going to grumble incoherently about Abaddon, how he is done dirty, and how I think this actually harms the hobby as a whole. If you want to know how I would change Abaddon in more detail, then here check out my Black Legion video in the description down below for the full rewrite of what I do with him and his Legion. So, the first thing I wanted to really talk about was the title, Fail-Abaddon the Useless. You've all heard this term. Fail-Abaddon the Useless. You've all heard it. I kid you not, some people actually think they are funny when they say that. So I'm not kidding. Some people actually think that they're being funny when they say that. It was the bane of my time at GW, aside from the toxicity of upper management, but the true bane of my time at GW was dealing with lol cows who just had to repeat all the vocal memes under the sun in each and every battle they played and every conversation they had that even touched on the Warhammer 40,000 hobby. Abaddon is the centre of memedom, the linchpin around which the ridiculous and childish tearing down of a setting that could be great occurs. This may seem overblown, and may seem like me rolling up my newspaper and waving it at people on my front lawn, but let's not forget something. Whilst the folks who keep lolling and regurgitating this nonsense are annoying, The true travesty is that they actually have a point. Right? All of these meme cows, they actually have a point. Abaddon has led 12 Black Crusades before the final 13th that kicked off in 8th edition, and has failed each and every time. That's why we even had a 13th Black Crusade to start with. Only in later lore retcons did Games Workshop slyly make each crusade a draw that cost both sides a lot, right? And then later, they had the balls to tell us that Abaddon actually won because each crusade accomplished one smaller part of his convoluted master plan. In short, they break the cardinal rule of writing to entertain. They tell us Abaddon is super cool, powerful and smart, when they have actually gone out of their way to show us that he is anything but for 30 plus years. Imagine being told Abaddon sucks for 30 years, because in the lore he's always getting his shit pushed in. Then all of a sudden you're told, no, he's actually great. Buy his model. Yeah, no. I believe this is where the memes really come from. Frustration and anger at our choices being completely ignored by Games Workshop. Did you know there was a worldwide campaign years ago that celebrated the 13th Black Crusade a decade before 8th edition was even a thing? Oh yeah. The 13th Black Crusade happened a long time ago in the lore. We just did it again in 8th edition for some reason, I don't know why. It was called the Eye of Terror Worldwide Campaign, and it resulted, so we are told, in a Chaos victory. The only issue here is that through all my investigations, many clubs, stores and official outlets were a bit puzzled as just how Chaos had won when they had been held in almost all sectors. This is even a thing on Reddit. If you go on Reddit and you look at the more serious side, I know, serious side of Reddit, I know, but you look at the more serious posts about, why Games Workshop ignore their customer base, this is one thing that's always brought up. Chaos lost the Eye of Terror campaign. Because Abaddon was supposed to spread across the Imperium as a whole. In the campaign, however, he never even got past Cadia. I shit you not. Look it up, guys. Look, it's ridiculous. In Games Workshop's big campaign, to push him as the major villain of the setting, he could not even get past the first hurdle. Instead, though, Games Workshop just told us that Chaos had won more games, quote-unquote, so got a narrow victory despite Abaddon never leaving Cadia. He invaded, landed on Cadia, fought, and fled back into the Eye of Terror. How is that a victory, pray tell? And this is what I mean. When people call him Failbadon the useless, this is what they're railing against. We told you, look, Games Workshop, you tried to throw Abaddon out there as the big bad, and the fans rejected him. Right? Accept that and move on. Rebuild him in failure and send him at the galaxy again. That only makes him more of a compelling villain if he fails and comes back stronger. Why not have it, just an idea, why not have it so that every campaign that passes by in the edition, right, that this is in, that he does not win, his rules get more and more powerful, as does his codex, the Chaos Space Marines codex. In a single edition, by the way, don't just break the game, just have it in the single edition, until Chaos is actually winning. Show us Chaos and Abaddon are cool. Don't take away our agency and tell us he is super cool and awesome, despite us showing you he's fucking not. That way lies embarrassment and memes, and here we are. Right? Literally. Abaddon cannot win. He cannot win without the intervention of Games Workshop. That simple fact robs him of all power and conviction as a villain in a setting like Warhammer 40,000, where power levels actually mean a lot. The Black Legion books by Aaron Dembski-Bowden tried their best to give Abaddon the panache and power, the mystique of other folks within the Chaos side of the Imperial spectrum, right? They are great books and go a long way to providing some depth and redemption to him. But they are flogging a dead horse, bailing water from a ship that is already below the waterline. What chance can Abaddon even have when he is in the same armies as the traitor Primarchs, the greatest and most tragic characters in Warhammer 40,000. What chance can he have when he is essentially Diet Horus Lupercal, or, as Games Workshop would define him, Horus Lupercal Max, in capital letters? This is the reason the guy simply does not work in any shape or form as a villain unless he is propped up by the machine that is Games Workshop. And you've heard this argument before, but in Guilliman. Guilliman may be annoying and overbearing and shoved down our throats all the time, but at least he makes sense as a hero. Irritating in the way he hogs the limelight, sure. Heroic material, though, definitely. He's definitely a hero, right? He works as a hero even though he's annoying. Abaddon even fails at actually being a villain, and he cannot even unite his own warriors against the main foe. Do you really think Fulgrim and his ilk listen to Abaddon's orders? They gave him gifts to make sure we all thought Abaddon was on a Primarch's level, but he's not. And a traitor Primarch charged by a Chaos God? Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. He's nowhere near their level. And that's why he fails. There are other things in his own army that are more powerful and better than him at nearly everything that he does. Is he a good tactician? Yeah, but Perturabo is better. Is he a good warrior with lots of rage? Yeah, but Angron's better. Is he a good warrior that's able to manipulate everybody around him? Yeah, but Fulgrim's better. Like, there's no... Like, even Typhus... Even Typhus would bitch slap Abaddon in my mind. Honestly, I cannot... I'll get into this in a minute. Anyway. Just a man. He is just a man. And therein lies the problem, guys. Even mechanically, Abaddon makes little to no sense. Even when we strip away everything, all the hyperbole, everything, he still doesn't make any sense. He can huff all the warp dust he wants, but at the end of the day, there is a real reason why he only ever really faces jobbers in a one-on-one situation. When has Abaddon ever actually fought anybody who's on the S tier? Which apparently he's on, right? Which he isn't, but apparently he is, listening to Games Workshop. When has he ever crossed blade with somebody who could actually have a chance of killing him? If he fights Guilliman, Tybros the Red Wake, a Custodian, any of them, Asterion Moloch, Kaldor Drago, or anybody of that caliber, he stands a very good chance of getting his arse cheeks clapped, or even outright killed. Am I saying any of these dudes kills him outright? Well, no, not all of them. But most would wound him to the point of it being kind of embarrassing for your big bad, and some would absolutely knock his block off if you're in need of and you'll be in need of a new War Master of Chaos, right? Within the mechanics of Warhammer 40,000 and how the universe actually works, Abaddon is not the biggest fish in the pond. He even isn't the biggest part of the Chaos part of the fucking pond. He's just a man. He's just an Astartes. Fully embraced by the Chaos Gods, sure, okay, I'll give you that. But countless years of experience, sure. A fantastic commander, sure. But you can slap around all of the underlings and minor Imperial characters you want. It still doesn't mean that you are top of the tier, that you are on the top tier of combatants or minds in the galaxy. It doesn't mean that you're up there because you're bitch-slapping jobbers all the time. Abaddon couldn't even beat fucking Creed. An old man with a cigar and a massive pair of titanium balls. Don't you tell me he is on the level of a Primarch or Primarch tanking characters in Warhammer 40,000. He simply isn't. Drago's lore may be stupid in the fact that he slapped around Mortarion, right? Even before he was a Grandmaster. But it's still in the lore, right? So, if you look at it from an empirical standpoint, Drago beats Abaddon. He just does. If you're looking on power levels and who they beat, if you did a versus series, which I really want to do one day, when you like they do in Star Wars, where you have like 2 Jedi or 2 Sith fighting and stuff, what would happen if they came up against each other? Well, I'm exactly that way with Abaddon. I don't know who he beats. There's a lot of people in Warhammer 40,000 who would push his shit in. Not because I think that's what should happen, but because that's the empirical evidence that we've got. Games Workshop tell us that he's cool. and then they show us that he's not. The last part is everybody play fair. Everyone play fair. What do I mean by that? This leads me to the final point that drags Abaddon down to mediocrity at best and outright setting sabotage at worst. He exposes the fact that Games Workshop are scared of making any decisions that don't openly sell them a lot of models. It is hugely telling that the only major advancement in the lore of the past 30 years has seen the Primaris Space Marines introduced, the most profitable model line in Games Workshop's history. Anytime Abaddon is on screen, he fights anybody, and he fights anybody, they will swing their weapons around a bit, curse, be met by a bigger problem, nod angrily to each other, agreeing to finish this at a later date, and go their separate ways. This happens in every fight between characters in Warhammer. They get together, they slap their weapons at each other, they nod respectfully, and they leave. It's beyond ridiculous. Abaddon is the main culprit of this, though. Abaddon can't die, and the only true S-tier kill he gets, ever, is against Sigismund, a Marine at the time who was over 1,000 years old, and so can't be used in the modern setting, and near dead, and still Abaddon loses the actual duel, but wins because of sheer plot armor. Games Workshop couldn't even piss off the Black Templar fans by just giving Abaddon a win. They had to have Abaddon lose the fight, but still kill Sigismund. It's fucking stupid. Pick one. Do one. Don't do both. Let somebody win, for fuck's sake. And it drives me insane. It drives me insane. I know people will read the Astral Blades Codex, right? And they will start bitching and moaning that certain people, the Astral Blades take losses, and the Astral Blades' foes take losses in the lore. They both take losses, and I will get bitched and moaned at for both, because people don't like, outcomes. They want people to just slap each other in the face, nod respectfully, and walk away. Why? Because they're conditioned by Games Workshop to like shit. It's not engaging. It's not clever. I literally put down one of the Siege of Terror books when Abaddon is about to be killed, and he literally gets teleported away as the sword is being swung down. I literally put it down. I knew he wasn't going to die, but the fact that they did it so blatantly in a plot armor way, I just closed the book. If you can't be arsed writing properly, I can't be arsed reading properly, okay? And I just put the book down and never went back to it again. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Games Workshop are terrified of upsetting you. So it's partly your fault as well, by the way. Any of you who have defended your lore and your background and every army should lose apart from mine, Anybody, if you've ever done that, you're the problem. The Grey Knights should take losses. They should take losses. They just shouldn't be taking losses from people like Space Wolves. They should take losses, ironically, from Abaddon. They should, in the lore. But they don't. Because Games Workshop are so terrified of upsetting anybody, and it just boggles my mind. It boggles my brain. It really does. They're terrified of upsetting you. They don't trust you to not throw your toys out of the pram should your army actually take a loss once in a while. Abaddon is the exemplar of this. He is never allowed to lose, but he's never really allowed to win either. Nothing moves forwards, nothing changes, everything is a grey and uninteresting sludge where no one gets their feelings hurt and no one loses. Everybody gets a pat on the back and a medal for showing up. That's the 40k lore that characters like Abaddon need to remain alive. We all know that if Games Workshop actually wrote 40k in a way that actually showed how brutal it was, Abaddon would last about 8 seconds before a traitor demon Primarch or S-tier player on the Imperial side went straight for him and annihilated him. Games Workshop, give Abaddon some real, tangible kills, wins and losses. Give him depth. Give him a goal that makes sense. Or kill the fuck out of him and get him out of the way so that we can see someone new take up the mantle that we actually care about. If you want my vote on who that should be, I vote for Decimus, the Night Lord seen at the end of the Night Lord's trilogy. But that's just me. And even then, I'd have him leading the Mortal Warriors of Chaos, and he stays far away from any Demon Primarchs, as he knows they are daddies and they would clap his shit, right? Oh, anyway. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm going way too hard on Abaddon? Do you reckon he can be saved? What would you do to turn his life around to make him more of a threat? You know what I would do? It's in the Black Legion video. So if you've not seen it, go and have a little look at it. Love you a long time. Have a wonderful, happy new year. Make sure that you look after yourself and all that fun stuff. I will speak to you on Monday. Or maybe even before then for a little thank you video and a little stream. We'll see. See how pissed I am. Love you. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.